I don't know. I still stand by the fact that this would actually be a pretty sweet game. Yeah, one, if you could explore, like, the locations. The locations you visit to some degree. But if you, you know, like, if it was actually, like, full-on facilities and stuff. The other thing would be... co-op would actually be really nice in this game. Wildly unlikely. Like, again, this is a game made by about 3 people. I kind of hate that a little bit sometimes with games. It's like, this is a fairly neat-looking game made by 3 people, so it's never gonna, like, reach its full potential. It's pretty good, but, you know, there's always gonna be that, like, oh man, this would be so much better if it had, like, a couple more features or, like, another year or two, to really, like, push things along. I have that problem a lot with certain games. What's another good example of a game that, like, had such great potential and... what the smids? Oh, does this guy have an ability? No. Just everything is glowing here. This is just so red. Okay, harvester is full. But more biomass. I gotta keep harvesting boatloads of biomass. I got 9. Because I'd like to get that awareness. Stonehearth is a great example, actually. Let's see. Wonder if you played Pulsar Lost Colony. No, I haven't. It's up there on, like, games that I desperately want to do a co-op series on. After I move, I'm probably gonna start reaching out to people again, and that might be something that I either bug Moose and Joe about or Avac and She-Lab. Because, like, Pulsar is always one of those that seems like it would be interesting, but with, like, a... maybe not a more serious group, but, like... more of, like, a low-key series to do with people. But yeah, Stonehearth is absolutely one of those games that, like, could have been absurdly good if they kept going with it and just kept adding stuff to it, like RimWorld levels. RimWorld is one of those games, actually, to some degree. If you could actually do RimWorld with, like, what's a good example? If you could mush RimWorld and... like, just a basic... RimWorld and, Hammerwatch. If you could mush those 2 games together, you'd actually have, like, a really fun game on your hands. Where, like, maybe you have one person doing all the, like, building and managing, and one person, and, like, a couple other friends running around and exploring and stuff, like, doing little dungeons. That you actually have, like... explore down. Let's see. Dig or Die, the Bearded Guy game. Dig or Die was fine. It was light, but, like... it didn't feel like it was as... it didn't feel like it needed to be, like, Starbound. Aground. That's... Aground is definitely one of those. Made by one guy. I think it was, like, literally his first game ever, and I was, like, throwing up all sorts of ideas left and right. And I think I offended him a little bit. Because he sent me, like, a heartfelt email just talking about, like, incorporating stuff, and he was disheartened by, like, me being kind of flippant about the game, and I was like, oh, you know, that's sad. Because, like, oh, you know what? These guys do glow, but I bet I already have the ability. That's what's going on here. Let's see. But Aground is one of those games that if the developer came back and, like, made a sequel with, like, more feedback and experience, I bet it would be a really good game. Let's see, I don't think they stopped with Stonehearth's development. I mean, I could be wrong on this, but I believe they put up a blog post talking about how they were kind of in the final stages of Stonehearth and wouldn't be developing it to the extent that they had originally talked about, I think, in their Kickstarter. Was it their Kickstarter? Yeah, RimWorld with tower defense would be cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, there's a couple that, like, if mushed together would be absurdly fun. If the games were mushed together, it would be absurdly fun. I mean, there's a billion games that, like, would be potentially amazing if done somehow. Give me your biomass. Any other, like, unfinished-ish games? Chasm. Not exactly in the same vein. But Chasm was one of those games where, like,
9, launch sequence activated. 7,
could have been really good with, like, another year or two in
4,
development
3,
and, like, expansion
2,
and stuff. Sorry, Shazam.
0.
I met the guy, the developer I made that joke with, and he barely even remembered it. I was actually kind of sad about that.
New materials have been refined.
Shazam was a great game. It's interesting, too, because you can have, like, games that were made by 3 people, and they're, like,
New materials have been
hamstrung
refined.
by it a little bit. It doesn't look like that cloud's getting any closer, so we're good. I bet they don't detect you until you're within, like, a short distance away, and then they follow you. So as long as I stay outside of it. Spore. Spore is a great one. The biggest could have been, I still want a better done Spore. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Spore, made with, like, modern techniques and stuff, would be real good. You know, especially if they don't, like, skimp.
Resource acquired.
Like, I'm always shocked
Harvester
that
destination set.
some other...
9, launch sequence.
You know who would make an incredible Spore game? Probably.
5, 4, 3,
I am more than willing to bet,
1.
Clay.
Launch sequence activated.
Like, I'm absolutely more than willing to bet Clay, the people that made Mark of the Ninja, Don't Starve, and so on and so forth, I bet they could make an incredible Spore game. I don't think I'd ever... What I want out of a Spore game is 2 different games, almost. I want, like, a cutoff point. Where you start cell stage, and then you slowly make your way up. None of this, like, can be speedrun in half an hour if you know what you're doing. Stuff. Well, I mean, I guess anything can be speedrun, but, like, without speed tech, it still takes a couple hours. You start as a cell, then you become, like, you know, a multi-cell organism that, like, can barely survive in the, a multi-cell organism that can barely survive. Really hoping for some biomass from this. Yeah, there's some. Okay. And then a fish, and then an amphibian, and then, like, an actual land-based mammal, and then, you know, maybe a couple of different things. The issue with Spore is that EA bought them out, and then ignored it. No, they bought them out, and then they rushed it. There's a difference. They were just like, yeah, we're gonna shut you down, more or less, if you don't actually release this game soon. And that is the death of quality. It's kind of what happened in a number of cases with Destiny, though there's some theories that Bungie is also kind of mediocre at management too. Let's see, is this game multiplayer? I wish it was. Because the idea of, like, a crew of people, I think these, like, little harvesting runs would be a lot more tolerable to some degree if I actually had other people to join me on this. Because, yeah, I feel like if the developers... I don't know if this game is releasing early access or full on Tuesday. But, like, if the developers are releasing this as kind of an early access thing, there's 2 things that I think they need to focus on, and probably choose between one or the other. is I think they need to choose to, like, focus on jamming multiplayer into this. Because this
New
would be really
materials
fun in
have been
multiplayer.
refined.
Okay, yeah, they're leaving. Or, they need to add, like, more explorable planets to, like,
New
keep with the
materials have been
longevity.
refined. Resources collected.
Okay, full if you go by their website. Eek. This seems like one of those games where, like, a year of early access would actually do it a lot of good. Not necessarily because the game on its own is boring or bad, but because a year of, like, very heavy user like, not generated, but in-depth user feedback would probably improve this game drastically.
Resource beaming complete. New
Like, I
materials
actually
have
feel like a
been
lot of
refined.
games kind of need to
Resource
do
acquired.
that to some degree. Because there's a lot you can do once you actually have, like, an audience base being like, yo, this
Resource
doesn't
beaming
work.
complete.
They could change it by the time it hits
Resources
Steam in
collected.
2020, but I don't know. I guess I'm just really enamored with... Oh, what's some good games that kind of... Well, I don't know.
Resource
I'd say I'm
beaming
sort of
complete.
enamored with how Graveyard Keeper did it, where effectively they released the game pseudo 1.0,
Resource
pseudo early access, and then we're like, oh, people got kind of sick of the grind partway through. Let's add zombies
New
to take the edge
materials
off.
have been
And it
refined.
still needs more of that to some degree, but
Resources collected.
like, you know, if they gave it a year or two of, like, an early access period where they're expanding the gameplay, giving some planets to explore. Like, all I want is, for the most part, you land on a planet, you have, like, an area to explore, almost to the point.
Resource acquired.
What if all of the planets were
New
just
materials
small
have been
spheres? Like, the
refined.
planets are ludicrously small, even. Or it's mostly just asteroids and you don't even know where
Resource beaming
actual
complete.
planets are. So you land at a... Whoops, hi. You land on a
Resources
planet,
collected.
and you can explore the whole thing and, like,
New materials
you know,
have
check it
been
out for
refined.
resources. And every once in a while you land on a bigger planet that actually has, like, a facility on it, or a cave system.
Resource beaming
And
complete.
most of the planets are kind of boring. You just go in, you grab some resources. Maybe there's, like, a small
Resource
infestation of
acquired.
creatures, but you can go kill the nest, and there's nothing left. Allowing you to grab all the resources you want freely, and you can even send your
Resource
guys down.
beaming complete.
Because I think it would be so much more compelling if you like,
Resources collected.
if you more or less built, like, a security team, a landing
New
team,
materials have been
loaded them up with the
refined.
guns, you go down, you find out where all the aliens are coming from, you either lock it down, so they're not going to threaten your miners, or you just exterminate everything, and then you send the mining crew down to clear it out. And so you don't have to do the repetitive, go down to the planet, mine the resources, avoid the bugs, rinse, repeat, like 3 or 4 times, depending on how many things are on the planet, maybe find, like, you know, a beacon. Because as it stands,
New
the
materials
main
have
reason
been
why I'm grabbing
refined.
resources like this is because I legitimately enjoy this game and want to see an ending, but it's like, this game was designed to be played repeatedly, and I'm not sure if it stands up there.
Resource acquired. New
This is the
materials have
dark
been
side of
refined.
procedural generation. That, yeah, you can have procedurally generated runs in a
Resource beaming
roguelike and whatever,
complete.
but to some degree, do you want to?
Resources collected.
Yeah, ship needs an animal farm to produce biomass, if that's even a thing. Yeah, I don't like the fact that I have to stand on a rock repeatedly to stand
Resource beaming
stand there and just
complete.
farm spiders forever. And don't
Resource
get me wrong,
acquired.
this
New
griping
materials have been
I
refined.
want to say is targeted and whatnot. Because, like, this could be an amazing game with, like I said, a year or two. To
Resource
just, like,
beaming complete.
buff up the amount of things that you can do in it.
Resources collected.
Because I would almost prefer it if it was an entirely
materials
hand-designed
have been refined.
star system. There's not really much replayability. Like, roguelikes are neat, but roguelikes need to be either beaten in an hour or deep enough. Let's see, we've already done Einstein, I think. Let's see. I think I know enough. We could probably try and go... Oh. Wait, what? I've never been over here. Why is this whole area scanned? There's also mechanics. Yeah, I wonder if this is actually scanning... It won't let me scan all the planets, but I bet it actually shows everything here. Alright, let's go Workshop 2. Now, these are danger critical, but maybe there won't be pirates nearby.
Warning. Prepare for hyperdrive.
Let's see, I haven't gone to see Lowell yet. So let's go see if I can trade stuff with Lowell. There's not much I want to sell. But barring finding aluminum, which is probably what we find on the higher danger planets. Unfortunately, Lowell's probably going to fly straight into the sunstorms, and I'm not going to be able to escape. We'll see how this goes. Nope, he's avoiding it. Okay, we just have to avoid the mechanics here. I think we'll be okay. Because, yeah, haven't shopped with the Lowell, and I'm curious how that's going to go. I don't want to waste any of my uranium. I've got a buttload, but... Okay, so there's some mechanics right next to Lowell. Let's give that a pass. You know what? I'm just gonna see what we can find in this area. It's high danger, but I can kind of work that. As long as the mechanics don't show up and immediately start bombarding my ship, I'll be okay. Okay, so there's some aluminum, which we need desperately. Some iron. Some lithium. If we're gonna be doing this, I should probably get some more guns. Iridium ore. Extra things. Okay. Let me pop this open. Grab a pair of turrets.
Weapons activated. Weapons activated.
I figured just covering this room in turrets is a good idea. Where's your captain's chair? Need to delegate orders to all these red shirts. Well, I mean, we're against all consciousness, so it's not really that necessary. Okay, they move fast, by the way. I could go after Lowell, but I think I'm just going to start investigating this area. Because we've been in the low difficulty zone for, I think, too long. Let's see. It's time for spiders. I could start getting spider crew members. What's our biomass looking like? 40. Oh yeah, it's time for spiders. Oh, I see. It's time for spiders. No more waiting for elevators. You simply scale the buildings. I mean, how cool would that be if instead of actually getting clones, you know, having like arachnoid clones or whatever, you'd actually research. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the research should almost carry over between runs to some degree. Okay, so I could get the hollow, but I don't think I want it. Do we get this?
Processing.
Let's get a Spider-Man with awareness and see if I can become him. Because I don't need the extra HP. Healing would be nice, but no dice. Okay, arachnoid. How do we add an ability? Select. Oh. Do I just have it? It looks like I might just have it. Everybody might just have it.
Cloning initiated.
Alright, let's make a Spider's Man. Oh, you beautiful creature.
New
Oh,
crew
become
member
you.
added.
I'm actually... Oh, God. Why do they just have segmented eyes? It's a spider person. That's not what spider eyes look like. Whatever. Can I become you? Rename you. Okay, well, he is Disappoint. How do I become Disappoint? Does anybody know how to switch which character you are? Try talking to him again. Well, I guess I'm just gonna start filling my crew with spider people. Let's make a couple of spider ladies, see if they're any better. Maybe they won't be so bad. What does the weird horror, like, half-made person look like if it's female?
New clone
Probably
has been
worse.
welcomed.
Or you just don't see it anymore. Alright, whatever.
Life form detected.
Ah, shit.
Warning. Prepare for hyperdrive.
That really does creep up on you way too fast. Okay, how do I use my ability? Where was it? Because it sounds like it just died. Yeah, it sounds like it got wrecked. I have no idea where it landed. Sucks a little bit because I want to see what it looked like. But wherever it is, it got executed immediately. Alright, so I gotta go watch this for a second. It looks like they're gonna just leave me alone. Alright, Burke. No, I think we sold stuff to Burke. A little boring. So the main problem is just like... I can't spend any time on my ship, because those guys are just going to sneak up on me. And there's nothing you can do once they start showing up, to some degree. Oh, is there anything interesting on this planet? There's like some sulfur, lithium, uranium, some more sulfur. I guess let's grab the little bit of sulfur while we're here. What do we do? I think I'm just gonna sneak around them, and we're gonna go see if I can get that Workshop 3. The main problem is just, like, I can't make any progress until we actually start getting some new tech, which means I need to start scanning some planets, but I don't want to get got by roving mechanics, because that's not very fun.
Warning. Prepare for hyperdrive.
So, like, I want to check this sector out, and look for resources. The problem is, if the mechanics are gonna come and gank me, then...
Warning.
Like, it would be nice if they had, like, if they could move if time only passed for these guys when you traveled systems.
Warning. Prepare for hyperdrive. Warning. Prepare for hyperdrive.
Okay, let's see if they start coming at me. Or if they go away. Because they do move. But it's like... It's like Schrodinger's death machine. It only comes after you when you're not looking. And I have no means of checking it unless I'm actively in the captain's chair. Which is awkward because I don't want to do that. I want to land at these planets to actually search for stuff. Platinum, niter. Yeah. Lubra, iron, lithium. It'd be interesting to try and go after Brosuit. Let's just grab iron. I'll let you guys do that. I'm gonna go watch. Because I can't send... This is where multiplayer might be helpful. Having one person on, like, scouting and effectively watching out for murder clouds coming my direction. It looks like I'm okay. I'm gonna try going down to a planet, finding that site. I'm not gonna go for a whole lot of resources. But I can probably make one planetary landing.
Harvester destination set.
10, 9, launch 8, 7, 6,
I can probably make one
5,
planetary landing without
4,
dying, and if I do die,
3,
it's not the end of the world.
2, 1.
Because we can always just go elsewhere, come back, and figure it out. It's gonna be bad if I come back and my entire ship is being overwhelmed by mechanics, and then it's just like, bleh, what was the point? But yeah, the problem is I'm like... I effectively am gonna have to, like, babysit my own people, and that's weird awkward. Because I don't want to have to babysit my own ship.
Accessing archives.
Constantly, to just make sure that we don't get raided by pirates. Because
20%.
that just means I'm going to be stuck with neuroses instead of making any progress here.
40%. Life form detected. 60%. 80%. All phases complete.
Okay, I have alien location Zelny. Those look like grays. Okay, I don't know what we need niter ore for.
Life form detected.
Oh, wrong gun. Okay, so these are probably Mantis 2s. Looks like they give a lot more biomass, which is good. Okay, and platinum ore. The weapons need an overhaul. They feel like Nerf guns. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot of impact.
Life form detected.
What the? I can't tell if they're supposed to be spitting at me or what. They do give a decent amount of biomass, though. Which is actually really good. Yeah, those are like weird horror space squid creatures. There they are. Yeah, crawl too. Ow. Little shit snuck up on me.
Life form detected.
Okay, that sounds
Form
like
detected.
dudes with guns. Acid rifle. So these...
Life form detected.
Ow. They do a lot of damage.
Life form detected. Life form detected.
And those are the Zelny. Okay, we got more squids coming after me.